Today is September the 30th, 2016. I'm Keith Warr, and welcome to another episode of Homeless in Titusville. And today I am in Cocoa, Florida, and I'm being joined by, what's your name, ma'am?
Brandy.
Brandy. So Brandy, how long have you been homeless?
Almost a year now.
Almost a year. And how old are you?
26.
And how did you become homeless? Did you lose a job?
No, my kid's father went to prison and I was a stay-at-home mom.
So you guys were dependent on his income.
Correct.
And how many children do you have?
I have 2 children.
And what are their ages?
3 and
2. And are your children healthy?
2. Daughter has hydrocephaly, but my son is healthy, yes.
And do your children currently live with you, or do they live with family?
My kids are in foster care. I don't have any family.
Okay. And why is it? What happened to your family? Are your parents alive, or?
No, both of my parents are dead. My mother OD'd and my dad just passed away from COPD in July.
Where did you grow up? Are you from Cocoa?
No, I'm from Fort Lauderdale.
From Fort Lauderdale. And how old did you say you were?
26.
26. And is this the first time you've ever been homeless?
Yes.
And so like, tell me about that. I mean, you know, what are you doing to, you know, like feed yourself? How do you feed yourself? Where do you sleep at night?
I sleep in a tent in the woods and I panhandle daily to get something to eat, and most people are pretty kind and buy something to eat, being that I am pregnant.
And how far along are you?
I am 7 months pregnant.
And how about the father of the baby? Is he in the picture? Is he around?
Yeah, we live in a tent together.
Are you guys actually legally married, or are you guys just living together? And is this your first child that you guys have together?
This is our 3rd child.
This is your 3rd child. So how long have you guys been together?
We've been together for 5 years.
Okay, 5 years. That's quite a long time.
6 years.
6 years. Wow. And what kind of work have you done? Like, have you ever worked?
I used to work at TJ Maxx, and when I got pregnant with my son, I became a stay-at-home mom, and we lived solely off of his paycheck, which is his Social Security, income, disability. He's 62, so he gets retirement and disability.
So the father of your child, he's 62, is quite an age gap there. So tell me a little bit about that. Like, how did you meet? You know, like...
He would come to TJ Maxx every single day and pretty much harass me out. Can we go on a date? Can we go on a date? Can we go on a date? And I always say no, until eventually I was like, fine, just take me out. And I got to know him and I ended up falling in love with him. You can't help who you love.
Yeah, right. No, you can't. You can't. So I want to ask you this, you know, and I know the viewers, I know they'll all be wondering, and certainly I feel you have the right to choose, and your reproductive rights should not be taken away from you just because you're homeless. But were you homeless before you got pregnant?
I was homeless. Yes, I was homeless before I got pregnant.
So, you know, did you do anything to prevent pregnancy, or it just wasn't something you guys thought about, or?
I honestly didn't think I could get pregnant after what happened with my daughter. My uterus prolapsed, so I didn't even think I could have it. On top of that, I had a Depo shot, so I didn't personally think I could get pregnant.
So you were
God
using,
says otherwise.
yeah, you were using a form of birth control then, the Depo shot.
Right.
So you were actively seeking some kind of birth control type, you know, stuff.
Correct.
And how about now? Are you under a doctor's care? Do you see a doctor for?
I do.
And what's the plan? What's going to happen when
My
you give
baby
birth?
is going up for adoption to a gay couple in the Netherlands.
And how come those people aren't paying to put you up somewhere?
They've tried to put housing for me, but since I'm a convicted felon, nowhere wants to accept my application. I can't tell you how many application fees this couple has paid for me, and I've been denied over and over and over for housing because I am convicted.
And what kind of criminal history do you have?
When I was 18 years old, I got arrested and convicted of strong arm robbery and attempted robbery. And I was sent to prison at the age of 19, and I got out when I was 20. I was a youthful offender, so I was kind of in what you call a boot camp program in prison. But anyways, I did my time, but because of that, I've applied for so many jobs. I can't tell you how many employers will not hire me because of my background.
So have you had any criminal history since?
No.
So
I mean, I've had a little misdemeanor charge from being homeless, like trespassing.
right, which are very common, very understand. They're unavoidable. If you're homeless, they are unavoidable.
Trespassing, loitering, those kind of charges, but nothing very serious. No felony charges. No.
Right. So no more robberies and no drug charges, all those kinds of things. And so they told you, when you went to jail that like you were paying your debt to society and all of this stuff. But does it ever feel like you're done paying for that crime?
You're never done paying for your crime. You will live with it for the rest of your life. No matter what you do, they'll see it. An employer or somebody that you're trying a creditor. You're trying to get a credit card to get a new car, a new house, or an apartment. Everybody will see it, and it will be held against you for the rest of your life.
So it's almost like if that happens to you, what choice do you have but to continue to break the law? Because if somebody won't let you lawfully get a job, well, you do in a way, but if somebody won't let you lawfully get employed and stay somewhere,
it's set up. It's a vicious cycle. It's set up to be intentionally repetitive, so that way somebody who does get out and does, want to do right, they get pushed into the other direction of doing bad again because there's no outlets for them. There's no employers willing to hire them. There's no apartments willing to give them a chance. And they are pushed back into a vicious, repetitive cycle of going back to jail because then they think, well, at least I have 3 meals a day. At least I have a bed. At least I have something to eat. I don't have to worry about these things. So let me just do crime and try to survive until I get caught. And it's sad. They can't, or people that are convicted, they can do the right thing, yes. But it's so easy to do the wrong thing and be able to survive, have more, than doing right, because it's really sad. And I wish Obama, there could be some kind of petition signed for the president to see how bad it is for people who are convicted.
it just seems like maybe if you had a period of time of say like 5 to 7 years between your last thing, that somehow that should be hidden from an employer or hidden from somebody who because you're showing that you are trying to do the right thing.
Absolutely. And unfortunately it is supposed to be that way, but it's not. It says, have you ever been convicted with it in the last 5 years? And I get to say no. And even at that, I'd say no, and they still do background checks, and it still comes up. And I missed out on a really good job opportunity because of my background. I was told I got the job. They did the criminal background. Next thing I know, I'm getting an appeal in the mail to appeal their decision not to hire me because I'm convicted.
Wow, that's really tough stuff, because that affects how you can support yourself and support your husband and support your children.
Absolutely.
So I have to ask you something else too. This summer it's been in the news about the Zika virus and how mosquitoes are transmitting Zika and children with microcephaly and stuff like that. Does that kind of scare you living out in the woods in a tent?
Yeah, it does. It's, something I try not to think too much about, because if I overthink about it and I obsess over it, then it will bother me a little bit more. So I just try not to think about it too much.
So do you have bug spray? Are there any charities that have come out and helped you?
No, nobody has came and gave us anything, which I don't expect to hand out. Nobody owes me anything. Nobody owes me bug spray. Nobody owes me a citronella candle. So I go out and I panhandle these things, and these are things that I buy when I do get money. Yes, I have off. Yes, I have a citronella candle, but they're things that I have purchased through the kindness of others.
And what kind of things are you struggling with right now? Like, what's some of your most pressing? Like, if you had a wish list and you could put like your top 3 things on them, I mean, obviously somewhere to live would be, you'd want that. But what do you need immediately? Like right now, are you food secure, or do you have clothing?
I honestly, me and half the people back there can always use something. Food is always very much appreciated because it's hard to. Yes, I do receive food stamps. Yes, I receive $180 in food stamps, but $180 in food stamps is nothing for 2 people. So,
Right, and I can't imagine it goes very far because a lot of the stuff has to be canned, pre-cooked, whatever,
right.
Because you don't have a refrigerator, you don't have a microwave, you don't have a stove, you don't have those comforts that a lot of people have.
That a lot of people take for granted.
Right. There's a lot of people sitting at home right now bitching about, their iPads and their iPhones and all that kind of BS, and, for you to have those, I mean, you would just pray to God to have that kind of problem. Wouldn't that be nice to just have your biggest bitch in the world be your iPhone is too slow?
Absolutely. That means life is good.
Yeah, right. All right. First world problems. So how about that? How about do you have any brothers and sisters?
I do. I have a brother that lives in the Camden.
So your brother is also homeless with you. And what about a phone? Do you guys have a phone to have communication?
I do have a cell phone. Like I said, my mother passed away in 2011, and my stepdad pays my phone bill every month. It was her phone number, but now it's mine.
So it's not one of those Obama phones.
No.
It's a real.
It's a Metro. Yes.
And what is your due date for the baby?
November 7th.
November 7th, 2016. So what kind of skills do you have if somebody were to, say, offer you a job? And not that you could really kind of jump into it right now.
I'm not overeducated. I do have a GED that I received in prison. I didn't go to college. I don't have any formal college education. But I'm a quick learner, and I enjoy listening, and I enjoy learning, and I pick up very quickly when something's explained to me. I'm able to comprehend and get the task done.
And how about, do you have any religious needs? Do you have a belief in God? Or, I mean, not that you have to have one.
I don't put a name on my religion or my faith. Let me not say religion. God, I don't like that. Gosh, I don't like that word.
Okay.
Religion. I don't put a name on my faith, but yes, I do believe in a higher power, in a God. Yes, I do.
Okay. And so, how do you feel this will come to an end? Like, what's the end to all this? Like, how do you finally get off the street?
That's a good question. I can't answer that question. I really don't know. Because with me having somebody behind me willing to pay for an apartment for me, willing to put first, last, and security, willing to turn on any electric, being that I have that backing me right now because I'm pregnant, because my daughter, my baby's being put up for adoption, and I still can't find a place to live because I'm a convicted felon, I really don't know how this is going to end, because the money is not the problem now. The problem is the fact that nowhere wants to accept me, nowhere wants to give me a chance. So.
And you've had a good track record here lately. You've been trouble-free and everything.
Trouble-free, right.
So.
I'm not, I don't have any more felonies on my record. The little pettiest things I got in trouble for was, like I said, trespassing.
You seem like a really good person, like what drove you to do that in the first place? I mean, I know you were 18, that's, you're still a kid,
silly,
pretty much.
Right, I was silly and I was stupid, and when I was a kid, I just seen, other kids doing it that was around my neighborhood, and I seen how much money they had, and, being that both of my parents are addicts, I went without a lot, even as a child, and, I thought, it would be nice to be able to have some money and, buy the things that other kids have, gold and new shoes and new clothes, and I did something stupid. I actually did it when I was 17. I got direct filed and charged as an adult. And they charged me as an adult when I turned 18, and I went to prison.
So you were talking about your parents had a drug addiction problem. Did you have a stable life as a child? So did you move around from school to school
Yes.
and house to house?
All the time. All the time. I've lived without electricity. I've lived without water. I've lived without food. Even at 16 years old, I remember walking with my brother to McDonald's to go try to panhandle. Back then, I didn't know what it was called, but I would ask people, excuse me, me and my brother, we're hungry. Can you buy us something to eat? Because my mom was, off smoking dope or in a mental hospital because she had a mental breakdown because she couldn't handle it anymore. The stress of life.
Does it make it a little bit easier that your brother's been sticking with you on the streets?
It does, because we only have each other, so I guess that's kind of why we're up each other's ass in a way. And he's very protective over me, and I'm very protective over him, because family-wise, that's all we have. And I know when it comes down to it, he'll have my back no matter what. If anything was to happen to me, or if I'm hungry and I'm incapable of going out to, go get my own food, I always be like, can you help me? And he'll go get me some. And even if that means going to ask 100 people for $1, he would do it for me. And there's nobody else in this world that would do that besides my brother. So.
Well, that's really good to hear that you have somebody on the street. Listen, if anybody has any help, if you know somewhere that would rent to her, like she said, somebody can pay the fees that are required with having a place. She just needs somebody to give her a break, give her a chance, and let her prove that she'll do what she needs to do. And if you guys want to reach me, you guys can reach me on Facebook at Keith War, KeithWohr, and I'll make sure to get back to you guys. Also, you can leave me a message on YouTube. I do respond to those also.
I can provide the necessary funding for any apartment that anybody is able to provide. And also, I'd like to add that any employers that, yes, I understand I'm pregnant right now, but I'm due in a month and I will need a job to sustain, a place to live, a stable place to live, and to obtain my children back. So any employers that have any open positions, please contact this gentleman here. I am a quick learner. Like I said, I don't have college education, but I do have a GED, and I pick up very quickly. So please, if you have anything, even washing dishes, mopping floors, I'll do it. So thank you.
And is there any other message you have to any other person before we go? Is there anybody out there that may see this that you haven't talked to in a long time? No aunts, uncles, no long lost friends, nothing?
No, just young ladies don't get pregnant at a young age. Stay in school to keep your mind on books, not boys.
All right, thanks guys. Appreciate you watching.
She's very much there. My back is killing me now.